let's go. Let's get to it. Right. I hate that. I hate it. Okay, so. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be fitting a aluminium R56 Mini Cooper S rocker cover to our project R56. Well, here we are again in front of the R56, which is not actually proving to be very popular. So if you are enjoying these videos, please, please, please do like and subscribe. It would really help. But yeah, this is what we have for content at the moment, so enjoy. Today we are going to be replacing the rocker cover. If you come over. This is sort of for aesthetic gains and for the fact that we have a new product coming out, but at the same time, we do actually have a little bit of a leak. We have sort of fixed it, as in it's not leaking anymore with that, what is that called, like metal weld stuff, but it's not great looking, if I'm honest. And to be honest, I don't actually know either exactly how long it will last. So that is our goal for today, to swap that over. We have a really cool red one that I'm going to unbox. Actually, to be fair, let me unbox it now and we'll show you. I'll scratch the top of it now. Right, so in the box, let's get the fittings out first. A bung of some sort, so I'm not sure where that lives. Does that live at the bottom? No, at the back. I'm not sure. We'll have to have a look at that. So we've got that. We've got the new bolts. That's cool. Actually, to be fair, I haven't looked to see how the old ones are going to come off. We have the seals in a bag, which probably won't open yet, but all of those are there. And the actual thing itself. I don't know how to take that out without scratching it. Well, that was the most fun I've ever had polystyrene. But it looks really good. I think that will look really good, Tim. Okay, so overall, I would say I really like it, because if you actually kind of look at it in position, I think it does look really snazzy. But on closer inspection, there are a couple of paint issues, if I'm completely honest with you. Which is one of the reasons why we've kind of got one in the first place, because this is going to be one of our new products on the website. And so we wanted to make sure before we start advertising them that we are happy with the quality ourselves. So it's not all lost in the fact that this one is not perfect, but I will be going back and asking if we can kind of have a better quality on the next batch. It's nothing major. I mean, I don't know if you can even see. They're only like little dinks and little chips and things. Nothing, to be fair, that a touch-up pen can't fix. But I do think if you are buying a painted rocker cover, you shouldn't have to do the top-ups in the first place. But I do think it will look good, and I think it will be hard to see them once it's all fitted and it's in situ and everything. And it is exciting to see a bit more colour go into the engine bay as well. So yeah, all is not lost. I don't want to be like a negative Nigel, but this one I know isn't perfect. So if you see anything on it when you're watching the rest of the video, we do know, and we are actually rectifying that as we speak. Okay, so no, what was that? What else can I say apart from okay? So
gloving up.
No, gloving up. Okay, so when we...
Okay, so... You need to think something different to say.
I can't think of anything else to say. What can I say instead of okay, so? So, in terms of...
So you just dropped the okay.
I thought I'd jazz it up. Right.
That'll do, right.
Yeah, that's good, yeah, right.
Right, so the old rocker cover...
Get the so.
No, I didn't say so. I can't think of anything other than those words.
You said right, then you said so.
Let's replay that right now.
Right, so...
Okay, this video is really tedious from anyone who doesn't find the...
That's a 5-minute job.
Right. Okay, so in terms of... No, so it's still okay, so. There is nothing else you can say.
Okay, right. Let's start doing it.
Let's go. Let's get to it. Right. I hate that. I hate it. Okay, so. So in terms of taking off the old rocker cover, I'm not really 100% sure. But again, Tim and John are letting me kind of work out for myself to prove that it's not very difficult. I know that this cover just basically hides the wiring. And to be fair, that probably actually that comes out as well. So that's cool. That can go there. What would come next? Coil packs, I guess, would come next. I know they lift up and pull out. Okay, so that's not complicated. Tim did say, actually, when I do this, it's sometimes easier if I am lifting and pulling a little bit at the same time. Blimey, okay. Okay, I hadn't taken these out fully. So they do actually also pull. There is kind of like a little bit of suction to them, if I'm honest, but Tim has said these ones in particular are quite easy to get out. Sometimes they can be real pains. So just take care. But those are all out. Ow. Okay, that hurt. Next up, we've got the breather on the intake that we have just fitted. I'll put a box up because just in case you ever want to watch it. So that is off. We've got, this other breather can come off. That is like a pinch either side and that comes off. That can just stay there. We have got is that camshaft position sensor? Tim?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, I hate these clips. Okay, that can, I guess, sit there as well. And there was one more sensor, the map sensor that Tim has told me to take off. Again, I hate these clips. Have you prepared this one for me, Tim?
Not very well.
Oh, there we go. So that is off. And those can just sit over there and do nothing over there. And then we have just got this 8mm socket, 8mm nut thing, which I assume once that's off, all of these will just flop forwards as well. So that will be my next job. Okay, Tim has just told me that I have to be kind of careful. This one, not so much, because I don't think that's very tight anyway. He may have already listened to that for me. But when these cars come into the garage, sometimes you will see, because there is, I don't know if you can see up close there is a 10mm nut, is that, on the bottom there? And sometimes these can get stuck together. So when you have got the 8mm on here and you're undoing it and you pull it, it can pull the whole earth wire and damage the actual loom up the top here. So to combat that, Tim has given me a 10mm spanner to hold in place whilst I undo the top with this. Oh, blimey. He left it so loose that I believe I can probably do that. I can do that by hand. But that, yeah, just so that you know, for future reference. Sorry.
Try to be funny. Someone sweep up.
So I have been entrusted with a power tool that I am only taking it off with this, and then I will be putting it back on with a proper, not spanner, ratchet. But these are 10mm, and I don't actually know how many there are. I guess there's 2, 4, 5, 6.
At least 4.
Is that one of them as well? So maybe 8, 10 of them. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to work my way around and see what comes off. And then I believe that should pretty much just lift at that point. But yeah, let me fast forward and I'll show you. Oh, that's a long one. Okay, and then we are pretty much good to just lift it off. I'm going to be honest, this one has come off not that long ago to do this bodge job bit. So your one may well want to come off slightly more difficultly. But let's have a look and see what the timing is like. So I don't remember actually checking that bit, so let's check that bit first. So as a side note, obviously the idea is that we are selling these covers so that you can fit them at home on your own, not a problem. But one thing I would say is that a lot of times I see on the forums with people saying, oh, how much would it be for this? How much would it be for this? And, you know, Bob from down the road, who's got a mate that's going to come round on a Sunday night for free, basically, blah, 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 is never really going to be the same sort of price as a garage would charge with, you know, ramps, electric, overhead, staff, etc. So obviously it is naturally going to be more expensive. However, one thing I would say is that most people will not have the timing tools in the garden shed to be able to check it at the same time. And that is one thing that when you do pay for us to do this as a service at Torque Monkey Garage, it is included, you know, at no extra charge. We do check all of your timing. Actually, I might get Tim to show you now, sorry Tim, I might get Tim to show you what is involved in checking the timing, although you won't necessarily be able to do it yourself, but to be able to prove how we do it and obviously, you know, what's involved in doing it as well. Let me go and get the tools.
Right, these engines are quite easy to time. You do need special timing tools to do so, which I will get out and show you very shortly. The top of the engine, obviously whenever you time any car, you do 2 rotations of the crankshaft is 1 rotation of the camshaft. So to time it, you do have to get the cams roughly in the correct position, then check the crankshaft to get closer to time the crank. On the end of the cams, they are square lobed. They're square lobed, you can see there's one flat edge, another, and the third flat edge is there. The fourth edge, which ironically this engine, only because I know, is actually pretty much in time as it sits now, ironically. The fourth edge is domed. It's actually curved. It's not flat like the other 3. Both camshafts are the same. Basically allowing the timing tools to slot over. You've got timing tool section 1 goes here, section 2 goes there. They bolt down and then 1 in the centre. That then holds your camshafts in place in the time position. The crankshaft is done via a pin through the lower engine casing into the back of the flywheel. We'll put it up in the air now because we know that's pretty much there. We'll put it up in the air with a mirror and we'll show you the timing hole and then the timing pin. Right, on the underside of the engine, we've got the timing pin hole is located up here in a rather awkward position. So you use a mirror up there to check the timing hole. But first of all, to rotate the engine over, you need a socket, 18mm socket and a ratchet. So we have to get up here to put on the end of the crankshaft. Once I find where the crankshaft nut is, there you go. To be able to rotate the engine, you can only do it in small amounts because of the shield there, but then we can turn the engine over and get it timed up into the correct position. Now, up here, it is very tricky to see. They do make it a bit of a pain, but we need to just check and look for the hole to line up. So you turn it clockwise until we find the hole to line up. Right, okay. Right, we are going to have to do 2 rotations of this because it was just past the timing hole underneath, even though the top looked like it was in the right place. It's deceiving. But you have to do 2 rotations of the crankshaft.
I reckon a mini specialist would have known that was in time just by looking at it.
No, no one would have. That was too close. I could have put the timing tools on the top. Right, I have done just under 2 rotations. If you can see the hole in the back of the flywheel, it's not quite spot on central, but what I usually do is use the timing tool, slot it in, put a little bit of pressure on it, turn the crankshaft, and then you'll feel it pop in. Some of them do become very seized, and they do take a little bit of wiggling to get them in. There, that's in. Little bit of extra pressure on the crank. That's locked. So now the crankshaft is timed up. Right, now with the bottom of the engine and the crankshaft timed with the timing pin, locking pin in the crankshaft in the back of the flywheel, all in place, we know that the top should now technically be in the correct place. Flat edge at the top, flats on each side, and the domed section is on the bottom. Now, if we use the timing tools, now with the timing kits that you get for these, there are numerous different versions depending on whether you have the third camshaft at the back with all of the extra springs and everything. There are certain tools that loop over that because this one won't give you the clearance. This one is just a basic one. Now, this one here slots over the exhaust camshaft and it should just slot on just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
If only we had someone to hold the torch.
I know, would make it easier. Right, that one is slotted on, as you can see it's slotted on. I need to put the bolt in. This next one goes over the back one. Now, I just have to put bolts in back and front, which is what you would be doing if you were doing a timing chain replacement or anything of the sorts. But we'll put the bolts in just to show. Now, as I've done these up, this one in the middle is actually sitting flat on it. There's no plate, it's not lifted. You tend to find when you check the timing on these and you put this rear one on, if the timing is out, this one won't slot on. So the exhaust one won't slot on. That one did slot on absolutely fine. And the rear one will slot on, but it will quite often sit with a gap between the two. Now when you do it, they need to lock on. This one's slotted down, there is no gap, which would show that the timing is actually sitting exactly spot on where it wants to be. No camshaft is advanced or retarded in any way, shape or form to what it shouldn't be. So no, basically, I'm happy with the fact that the timing is exactly where it should be. As a side note, if anyone out there wants to go and get the kits for timing tools, by all means you can, so you can check it yourself. I would advise that you do not manhandle the camshafts into position. If they will not go, they will not go. And also, when you disassemble it, put the rocker cover back on, put all the top back together and jump in the car to start it. Please check in your box with the timing tools that you have remembered to remove the crankshaft pin, because otherwise your engine will not crank over and you'll get a lot of clicking from it and you could potentially damage your burn your starter motor out and possibly cause other damage. So please guys, remember to remove.
So obviously before we fit the new cover, we will need to give everything a good old clean. So I'm just wiping off all of the old oil. I mean, I don't really know what else was on there, but apart from oil, but it does look manky. So I'm just giving it a good old clean. See, I told you Tim I'd get you on camera. Anyway, I thought that was quite interesting. I do actually genuinely find this sort of thing interesting, so hopefully you guys do as well. But we're back to the new cover. So this kit does include the gaskets and seals. I am going to be honest, I don't know if this is a brand or if this is going to leak like a sieve on the way home. I honestly don't know. So we figured we could just test it. It's not my problem.
Tim's problem.
If Tim breaks down, I'll just have to see him at work tomorrow anyway. So we're going to give it a go, just for the sake of testing it for you guys. If there is a problem, obviously we will make it clear so that you know, and we can easily get hold of replacement seals that are of a really good quality anyway. So it's not a problem, but we'll test this out in the first place. I am going to need to concentrate now, work out where this lives based on the shape of it. That looks like an inner, so that must go down like that. Okay, so we're going to go and grab some grease, which, as we all know from an intake video, is my favourite thing in the whole garage. Let me go and get that and make everything way too sticky. Oh man, greasy nipples at the ready. I don't actually know where I'm supposed to be putting these. Tim, in the corners, yeah? Okay, some in the corner before he replied. But actually, to be fair, Tim has just shown me this. So I said, which way up do we know it goes? And he's just shown me. If you have a look at that, John, there's a notch like at the bottom of here, and it doesn't go all the way to the top, and it goes into those grooves there. So that's how you know which way up you're putting it. It doesn't actually seem to fit too badly, if I'm completely honest with you. So it might not actually be bad at all. It's more just, you know, when you've never used something before, you're never quite sure how it's going to go. Okay, I didn't want to drop it, so I sort of picked it up and then I rushed putting it on. So I've sort of just placed it there so I don't drop it anymore. Obviously, it's not fully in position. Oh, thank you, Tim. It's sort of fully in position now. I think it looks good. I mean, there are obviously small little issues with the paint. I don't think, I mean, yeah, okay, so don't zoom in too much. I want it to look good. I think it's not bad, and it does make a big difference. If you step back and look at it, I think it does look good in the whole grand scheme of things. Let's get it tight. Let's get it on. Let's get home, because I was assured this was going to be a 20-minute video and it is now nearly 8 o'clock. So obviously there were certain bolts that came off that were different to the others. So I've sort of separated them. These are all like the normal, I don't know whether you'd call that a collared bolt, but whatever. They all look the same as that. Then you have two long ones, which were these two sides. And this one here with the little top hat bit, which is where the loom went in the first place. So Tim has told me to make a start by doing the two in the middle. Obviously none of these are going remotely tight. They're just in position to make sure that everything is all lined up as it should be. Then we start from the middle and work our way out as we tighten them. So for now, I'll just put everything in position and hopefully not cross thread them, or at least more than once. It's also worth mentioning that the ones we took out were a 10, the ones we're putting back in, these are all 8s. It shouldn't be a problem because you probably have a socket set, but just to be aware of that. Okay, so the, what do you call it? The torque settings for these bolts are 10 Newton meters. So obviously preference would be using a torque wrench, obviously. When is it going to go? Okay, perfect. And we'll just work from the outside, from the middle, back to the outside. So we are nearly there. I just need to take off the cam position sensor, which is just here with that bolt there. I guess that must be an 8 because I haven't changed this. Yeah, it's an 8 mil. So just going to take this off and then it will literally just sit on position onto the new cover. So O-ring replaced, just like a generic kind of, what is that called? Like like when you have like loads of sizes in a box, whatever that is, and then greased, so that all can go in there. Dog's crying because it's definitely home time, definitely time to go and have a cuddle on the sofa. But this is going all back together again and we are very close. And then it's quite literally just the reverse of everything that we had at the beginning. So all of these can go back on together. The actual sensor can be plugged back in. The, what is this? What would you call that? Just the ignition loom, okay. The ignition loom can go back on. Ideally without scratching everything. Where does that live now? So we haven't actually put the Direnza cover plate back yet, but we wanted to kind of see, because I figured it's quite cool to have a Model Mini sticker on it. We were going to put it here, but I think it might look weird with everything level. So we've gone for this angle, like so. Time for the finishing touch.
No pressure.
It's all right. You don't mind if it's wonky. And we are done. I actually really like it, but I am glad to be done as well. Just don't look at the sticker because apparently I have to put it on ever so slightly wonky. But I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks really smart. We're going to put the Direnza cover back on from the intake kit bit. So that will go here and then we can all go home and have some dinner. I hope that you really liked the video. I know it's a bit R56y, but if you have any other ideas of what you would like to see us do with the R56, that would be really helpful to leave a comment below. And I hope to see you in the next video.